Hey, it's Sean Donato over here, and I got for you a brand new review of Autopsy-Morbidity, Triumphant. Autopsy is a legendary death metal band, and they came through in the 80s when I was a baby, 89 to be exact, with Severed Survival, following it up with Mental Funeral, and that was in like the early 90s. 92. If I'm not mistaken. Now, afterwards, they kind of hit like a lull. I feel like the projects that followed after that weren't hitting. They weren't hitting creatively. I feel like artistically, when it came to the quality, they kind of went downhill. But in the 2010s, when 2011 hit, Macabre Eternal, the guts was there. The songwriting was there. And they just brought you these morbid, disturbing lyrics, great performances all throughout, great album, and then followed it up with Headless Ritual, which I thought was okay. Wasn't great, but it definitely had some highlights on there. Definitely not as well put together as their follow-up, or predecessor. But the follow-up to that, Tourniquets, Hacksaws, and Graves, which definitely was a solid release, definitely a little bit of a return to form. But now we got Morbidity Triumphant, 10th album, 10th friggin' album. And I would say like guitar leads on here are sharp. They're bright, fiery. The drums on here, the double bass kick drums, kick ass. Wailing guitar leads. Also, I love the vocal variations from Chris on this. And he does the drumming too. Like, he's not just a pretty voice. Well, the voice ain't pretty, but you know what I mean. It's appealing for death metal fans like myself. And like, man, the guttural nature of his vocals, the ferocity of his vocals are just straight manic, and the album kicks off with Stab the Brain. The playing on this track is so tight. It's tight. And the way the progression of like the hellish fluttering tremolos are insane. They're absolutely insane on this thing. And Chris absolutely savages on the drums. It has a steady headbanging bass, like, that type of shit that you would like play in a mosh. And the hellish guitar tremolos, chef's kiss. Final Frost is this really doomy, dramatic opener with these heavy guitar chords and like these bloodthirsty essence and really nice paced drumming too. Like, I feel like the intro is like so dramatic. It's like opening up the door and seeing a fucking animal about to just savage you. So you just walk in and you're like, oh boy, I'm about to get savaged. And you bet your ass that's what happens, because the rapid, fiery playing on this is just mauling. It's mauling. I never thought I'd use that term for describing an album, but it's fucking mauling. And it does give you some breathing moments too, where you could, crawl and make sure that you're crawling for your life, and then only to get swallowed up again, only to get destroyed again. And man, like, the riffs are so devouring on this thing, and the guttural, visceral growls to this are just insane. Also, I love when Autopsy injects other subgenres into the mix. I feel like on here we kind of get like, dare I say, a doom metal version of Money from Pink Floyd on here. Like, the chord progression on here kind of reminds me of Money. And the infusion of the elements of heavy hard rock metal on like the back end are just a great way to close it out. It feels like I'm in a bar from hell. It feels like I'm drunk off my ass in a bar from hell, and I don't fucking drink anymore. And the breakdown passages on this thing are incredible. There are some issues I have on this thing. Like, I do feel like it does get a little repetitive in terms of the formula, where it's like, okay, we heard the slow builder, then we heard the onslaught of the riffs, and it doesn't really break any new ground. It gets kind of tedious, you know what I mean? It gets a little straightforward, like I'm born on blood. But it does pick up again with Flesh-Strewn Temple, with these ghoulish guitars in the intro, where it feels like I'm being led into this graveyard, and I'm walking in there, and I get a hit of these dissonant tremolo layers, and it feels like the demons are just rising from hell and just causing absolute havoc everywhere. And Chris just continues to sound hellish and animalistic on Tapestry of Scars with these freakish growls and roars. Holy fuck. Also, with me, like, when it comes to death metal, like, not only do I love, like, the gore, not only do I love the visceral playing, not only do I love a good set of gruesome lyrics, but the catchy lyrics as well. You know, when it's catchy, that's a banger. That's a death metal banger. It's from the headbanger's ball. That's what it is. And, man, like, when you say shit like knife slice axe chops, knife slice chop, we're gonna do another take. But we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep it raw, because that's what we do here. Rhymes like knife slash axe chop streams. Knife slice axe chop. Streams of blood never stop. Got it. You know, wait till I hit the studio. That's it's gonna be fucking something. Or rewinding all the fucking gore, horror flicks strewn on the floor. There we go. Banger. Right there. And the doomy, ominous breakdowns in between are fucking sick. And Chris has like these elongated, throaty, acidic growls, and it just really sets a tone for it. And we also get maggots in the mirror. Horror on display. Your demise getting clearer. Fucking banger. And I feel like if we had Headbanger's Ball still, this would be on there. Probably a more underground type of Headbanger's Ball, because this may be a little too raw for the mainstream. I'm just saying. And on Slaughter of Souls, we just get like these onslaught of chaotic, fiery riffs. Great playing throughout. Chris continues at animalistic growls and vocals on here. And I will admit too that it should have been the closer. It should have, because I feel like that has that finality essence to it. It has that finality impact. But instead we get like a very type of basic opening intro, slow build, mid-pace, pick up, then we get fast, then we slow down, and it doesn't really have any artistic intricacy to it. I'm just saying. So I feel like it should have ended with the track previous to that, because this one feels like a bonus. But other than that, I mean, it does get a little repetitious at points. But man, the infusion of other genres, the brutal, chaotic playing, savage lyrics, the very dirty, dungeon-like quality this has, the way I love my death metal. I love it. Give this thing 4 BADABINGs out of 5. But if you check this out, what did you think of it? You fucking with it? You not fucking with it? Let me know. Sean Donato, Autopsy, Morbidity Triumphant. I'm out of here.